masakshi loi phajai.
Your objective number 4, to investigate the impact of extracurricular activities on students' attitude towards history. Can you elaborate something about this?
Ratings to the half in it. The Tomana low grab. So I know questionnaire with the Tomata. Ratings here, tickets here.
Education में काम सीखा है इसलिए
In a hypothesis, no? All the history
Either you can use legal or person, 5 scalar, 3 scalar. Demand for young people to go on the operation and working pressure and qualification. I got a respect for that. I'm going to something to run the equation. Got a related to the activities like duration, data, space, for example, assignment be, presentation be, examination be, environment, home environment, grade, justification of the study. So education is very much important part in our life, and higher secondary part, the direction education. Higher secondary part is very much important, crucial later next stage for Magi. Higher secondary graduate master next education professional higher studies stress and the excess stress far and next stage and drop out of government private higher secondary school, students in public school, and she was demonstrate the motive force to academic related marks that adopted capabilities of students in government school, that school governed by or managed by government all, private school, private hospitals, managed without any assistance. Without any assistance of the government, and
objective set. Objective number 1 is very equal, with not equal. Objective 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, and number 5.
Among higher secondary students in compare the level of academic among both the girls of higher secondary students in some district. Compare the level of academic among government and the private higher secondary in the district, and to compare the level of academic among rural and urban area higher secondary students in some district. And last,
Role 27 in the education program on awareness of fiber evolution growth of Mapautulan Belief, Kamloops District, Manipur. So, menstruation is a regular dischargeable blood and mucosal tissue from the inner lining of the uterus to the vagina. It happens once in a
that you can do?
Okay, so although menstruation is a natural process, it is linked with the various misconceptions and practices. So for menstrual hygiene and for menstrual practices leads to various gynecological problems such as dysmenorrhea, menstrual disorder, pelvic pain, etc. So to overcome all this, adolescent girls' awareness about menstruation is very much important. So an accurate and reliable and realistic information is given to the adolescent girls, especially the private adolescents, then it can prevent all these from problems. So as my knowledge, subject to correction, the review of related literature did not reflect any study related to this instructional package of menstruations, especially to tribal adolescent girls. So if the instructional package is designed and given to the adolescent girls, then the knowledge and practice will be more enlightened. So I'll come to the objective goals. Number 1, to study the status of awareness of menstrual challenges among the tribal adolescent girls of Mapalpulan village of Manipur. The second objective is this. To study the status of awareness of menstrual challenges among the tribal adolescent girls with reference to their social and economic profile. The third is to develop an education intervention program, EIP, on awareness of menstrual challenges for tribal adolescent girls. Fourth, to study the effectiveness of education intervention program on overall awareness of menstrual challenges among the tribal adolescent girls. Hypothesis of the study. So following research hypotheses are formulated for the study.
Ma'am, VP, and all my dear teachers from this institute, as well as my colleagues and my dear juniors. The topic of my synopsis is attitude of Imphal East District, Manipur. Justification. Inclusive education हाइबसी social and educational philosophy अमखनी अदुगा करिगुबा हारिबा inclusive education हारिबा social and educational philosophy सिदा थाजबा छात्रसिंग कोरगदी मखोइदा of the mainstream society ideology students say inclusive education की idea अदुगा they do not disable peers with respect. See of the thing about Amoy. Aduga, in the present scenario, as all education institutes has introduced inclusive education, how the attitude result to analyze the strategy mayama classroom da follow to first objective is to determine the status of inclusive education in government and private higher secondary schools in Wakai and Jaskul Assembly constituencies of Imphal East District, Manipur. Second, to explore the attitude of higher secondary schools towards inclusive education. To compare attitude of students of government and private higher secondary schools towards inclusive education. Last point, objective to compare attitude of male and female students of government and private higher secondary schools towards inclusive education. So my hypothesis is, first, students of higher secondary schools have positive attitude towards inclusive education. There is no significant difference in attitude towards inclusive education among government and private higher secondary schools of Wakai and Jaskul Assembly constituencies of Imphal East District. There is no significant difference in attitude of male and female students of higher secondary schools towards inclusive education. Method descriptive survey method. Population comprises of students of class 11 and 12 studying in government and private higher secondary schools of these respective schools. Samples in a stratified random sampling techniques in sampling procedure So, three government and 3 private higher secondary schools will be drawn. 10 students will be selected from each school, that is altogether 60. 30 male and 30 female students will be selected. Tools, self-developed questionnaire, or close-ended questionnaires. Statistical techniques, descriptive statistics, standard, median, graph, charts, etc. Delimitation. My study will be delimited to Wakai and Yarku assembly constituencies of Nepal East district. The study will be conducted with 60 students studying in government and private higher secondary schools of Nepal East.
And the title of my synopsis proposal is on a study on parental awareness of early childhood care and education in the Southwest District, Manipur. And my justification of the study, first point, high quality care and education during this early period has a lifetime of positive consequences for all. A good learning program of early childhood education helps to ensure appropriate opportunities for holistic learning and development. Parental awareness of early childhood education will bring us to the society globally competitive. Parental involvement in the curricula of ECE will come into practice after the awareness on importance of early childhood care and education. MEP 2020 aims to ensure all girls and boys to have quality early childhood development by 2030. And my objectives of this study, first point, to find out the level of awareness of fathers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And second point, to find out the level of awareness of mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And third objective, to find out the overall awareness of fathers and mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And fourth objective, to compare the awareness level of fathers and mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And my hypothesis of the study, first hypothesis, there exists high awareness level of fathers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And second hypothesis, there is a high level of awareness of mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And third, there is a high level of awareness among fathers and mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And fourth hypothesis, there is no difference in between awareness level of fathers and mothers regarding ECCE in Southwest District. And methodology, my present study will use descriptive method of research and population. For the present study will be fathers and mothers of Southwest District, Manipur. The sample of the study will be 100 numbers of parents, that is 50 fathers and 50 mothers of Southwest District. Stratified random sampling will be used in the sampling procedure, and the study will use self-made questionnaire. And statistical technique will be used. Simple percentage and t-base wherever required for the analysis of the data to be collected. Delimitations. Only fathers and mothers of Southwest District will be utilized for the study. Only 100 samples of fathers and mothers will be utilized. Only 50 fathers and 50. Today I am going to present a synopsis under the supervision of Ms. Margaret Muslim. And the title is Parental Pressure and Academic Stress Among Higher Secondary School Students of Southwest District, Manipur. We know that the higher secondary stage is the transitional stage as well as the preparatory stage for life and tech students. Academic stress is an emotional tension faced by the students on being unsuccessful to cope up with the academic demands. Parental pressure is a drive that parents put on their children to achieve a goal. Sila akhoi parental pressure se ani thokna laiba yai, like direct parental pressure haibanga, indirect parental pressure haibanga. Direct parental pressure hai direct na shouting tauba, scolding tauba, ngangba, fuba chaiba. Aduga indirect parental pressure hai na guilt trip tauba, emotionally guilt trip tauba thumba do oiba yai. Then parental pressure se factors mayam like some higher family negation. For example, doctor की family और कार्य आई चासी doctor है इधर नहीं तुम्हारे like but then economic conditions of the family, academic competition among the siblings or the or among my neighbors or my friends in masa sindo or the jadi kan parental pressure full of it. Okay, justification of the study the our students in the higher secondary students in say transitional stage of Banina, they are the bright hopes of the future. Thus, identifying the problems and stressful situations encountered by students of higher secondary stage in their academic life and addressing these problems in practical setting may help the students to alleviate their stress. Parents play a major role during the selection of the subject group in the higher secondary class, particularly the science group students are put into more pressure to achieve high marks to gain admission into professional courses. The need of this hour is to identify the level of parental pressure and academic stress in higher secondary students and help them to adopt appropriate strategies to overcome the stress. So the definition of the keywords here, parental pressure is the emotional stress parents impose upon their children and is related only in academics in this present study. Academic stress is a mental or emotional stress tension that comes due to the demands of school life. It is a product of combination of academic related demands that exceeds the adaptive resource available on an individual. Higher secondary school students pursuing the 11 and 12 standard of education social skills in adulthood. To these schools, several environmental factors, especially the family environment, can have a powerful impact on the academic achievement and success of the students. Therefore, parental support is necessary to encourage creative thinking and help in their children's education, provide useful behaviors and outcome of a child going into a productive moment of tomorrow. The objectives of this study are, number one, to find out the role of mother in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. Number two, to find out the role of father in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. Number three, to find out the overall role of mother and father in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. Hypothesis of the study. Number one, mother have a high role in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. Father have a high role in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. And number three, parents have a high role in enhancing children's creative thinking skills in Imphal West District. Research methodology. Research method का एक descriptive method survey use करनी होगा. Population ना all parents of Imphal West District will constitute the populations. Sample na 50 mothers and 50 fathers will be taken and thus 100 parents will be taken and sample for the study. And sampling technical 25 random sampling with equal allocations will be used and tools to use the self-developed questionnaires in consultation with the expert will be used as a collection of data and statistical techniques to be used. The data will be analyzed with the help of appropriate statistical techniques. And the delimitations of the study will be number one, study is delimited to only parents of the Imphal West District. Study is delimited to only 50 mothers and 50 fathers of the Imphal West District. And study is delimited to only parents up to 40 years of age.
Women in India have always concerned about a lot of problems and issues in the form of child marriage, female infanticide, sexual abuse, etc. Some common forms of the violence and the problems which are faced by Indian women since the husband are rape, pornography, prostitution, trafficking, domestic violence, dowry, divorce, abandoned widow, etc. In Manipur also, women play a significant role in socio-economic and cultural life and dominate the market in the rural and urban areas. In Phobos district, the level of women and the right of them is comparatively high in one side, but in the 21st century of globalization, issues like cybercrime, trafficking rate, etc. were increased. In order to overcome such violence and problems, the girls students it's necessary to aware about the women's right, about their self-defense, getting their own right and away from victims. Thus, this study was done to assess the awareness of women's rights among the girl students in order to overcome men and female to the same level of the society. My objectives are to assess the level of awareness of women's rights among the class level girls students in Khaba district, Manipur. Number 2 is to compare the difference in the level of awareness of women's rights among the class level girls students living in private and government higher secondary schools located in Khaba district, Manipur. Number 3 point is to find out the difference in the level of awareness of women's rights among the class level girls students belonging to well-educated or illiterate parents in Khaba district, Manipur. Number 4, to compare the awareness in women's rights among the class 11 girls students living within the Khaba town and those living in villages around Khaba town of Khaba district, Manipur, to assess the level of awareness of women's rights among the class 11 girls students living in science and arts stream in both private and the government higher secondary school located in Khaba district, Manipur. Number 6 point is to give solution for better awareness of women's rights among the class level girls students living in both the government and private higher secondary located in Khaba district, Manipur. My hypotheses are in general, most of the girls in Khaba district have little knowledge about the awareness of women's rights. Number 2 point, girls of Khaba district reading in highly paid private schools again have more awareness about the women's rights than the students reading in government schools. Number 3 point,
Justification of the study. First point, in this competitive era, every educational institution requires adequate infrastructure and fundamental human rights and access to quality education is essential development of this society. The government invested huge funds in crores of rupees for utilization in teachers, salaries and maintenance of institutional building and infrastructure with the goal to bring good and education system in the state. Number 4 point, this study aims to examine the differences and similarities in school management infrastructure of Manipur. The present study will also attempt to fill up the gap in this era of research. Such study is essential because it will help to promote equal opportunities to all for all children irrespective of whether they attend government or private secondary schools. The last point of the justification of the study is that the main purpose of this study is to conduct a comparative study of government and private secondary schools in the district of Manipur. Objectives of the study. Objectives of the study, the first point, to identify and compare the existing infrastructure facilities between government and private secondary schools. Number 2, to examine and compare the teaching learning process between government and private secondary schools. Third, to explore and compare the study of habits of students between government and private secondary schools. To compare the academic achievements between government and private secondary schools. The last point, the last objective of the study is that to compare the post-scholastic activities provided in government and private secondary schools. In order to achieve the objective of the present study, the following hypotheses are formulated. 1. There is no significant difference between the existing infrastructure facilities of government and private secondary schools. 2. There is no significant difference between the teaching and learning process of government and private secondary schools. 3.
So my synopsis is on attitudes of secondary students towards history subject in Imphal East. Now coming to justification of the study.
History education is critical for fostering a sense of identity, citizenship, and social responsibility. However, many students often perceive history as boring or irrelevant and see it as a subject that is not useful for their future careers. This negative attitude towards history can lead to a lack of motivation for academic performance and disinterest in the subject. So the significance of the study is to bring to light the erroneous impression and perceptions held by students with regards to history. So my statement is entitled as Attitudes of Secondary Students Towards History Study in Classes. Now objectives of the study. Number 1, to find out the overall attitudes of secondary students towards history. Number 2, to compare the attitudes of male and female students towards history. To see the difference in attitudes of government and private school students towards history. Now 4, to investigate the impact of extracurricular activities on students' attitudes towards history. Number 5, to suggest recommendations for improving students' attitudes towards the history subject. Now hypothesis. There is no significant difference between the attitudes of male and female secondary level students towards history. There is no significant difference between the attitudes of government and private school students towards history. Number 3, there is no significant impact of extracurricular activities on students' attitudes towards history. Number 4, implementing a more student-centered and interactive approach to teaching history will be effective in improving students' attitudes towards history. Methodology. Method I use descriptive survey method will be used. The population. The population will consist of all students of class 9, government as well as private schools in college. Sample. 300 samples of class 9 will be collected from half government and private schools by employing stratified random sampling technique. Sampling procedure. 30 students, of which 15 males and 15 females are included from each school. Tools to be used. Self-developed questionnaire will be used. Statistical technique. So the statistical technique will be used such as mean, standard deviation, and t-test. Delimitation. The study is delimited to 5 government and 5 private schools. It is restricted to Imphal East only, and 300 students of class 9 will be taken. So these are the differences.
Okay, let's look into the literacy level of the teacher training or not. Justification. The finding of the study will be significant for the teacher education providers if they will be able to update their training programs and curriculum for better prepared classroom environment. And the second point is the study will contribute to the identification of areas where the teacher trainings may require additional support and training, and thereby enhancing overall their computer literacy skills. The third one is it will help to improve the professional qualities of the teacher and ultimately improve improving the quality of education by preparing the future teacher to meet the increasing demands of the digital technology. Next, the statement of the problem is stated as a study on the basic computer literacy level of BA teacher trainees of Manipur. Then the objectives of the studies are to find out the significant differences on the level of computer literacy skills among the male and the female BA teacher trainees. And the second one is to compare the significant differences on the level of computer literacy between government BA colleges and private colleges. And the third one is to assess the basic computer literacy skills of teacher trainees. And the hypotheses of the study are there is no significant difference between male and female teacher trainees. And the second one is there is no significant difference between private BA colleges and government BA colleges. And the third one is BA teacher trainees possess low basic computer literacy skills. And in the methodology, I'll be using the survey method. And for the population of the study, it covered the entire 15 BA colleges of Manipur. And for the sample, I will be collecting 50 trainees for DNCTE, RS Anatomy, and Department of Education and University, and Igotuli Institute of Education, Kanpur.
and I'll be using convenience sampling technique for the selection, for selecting the sample. And for the tools of the study, I will be developing questionnaire with the help of my supervisor. And I'll be using relevant statistical technique for the design of this. And for the delimitation, it confined only the 4 gate colleges that is the MCT involved.
Good afternoon, teachers, my dear colleagues. My name is Olivia, and today's presentation, the topic is a study of the attitude of students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas, Manipur, under the supervision of Dr. Monica Fraser. Nowadays, women equality has been a major and contentious topic at the political and social levels. And then working is not an option, but a necessary for both women and men to mitigate the rising costs and sustain healthy lifestyle. Despite laws in place for women's safety and security at the workplace, there are still many obstacles that they face in the workplace. So it is important that we study on the attitude of students, as they not only represent a country's future, but they also are one of society's main source of change and advancement. This study will help us learn more about women. It will give us an insight on the attitude of students towards gender, and the result will be beneficial in policy making of the state in the future. Objectives. Number 1, to find out the attitude of male B.Ed students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas, Manipur. And number 2, to find out the attitude of female B.Ed students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas, Manipur. Number 3, to do a comparison on the attitude of male and female B.Ed students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas, Manipur. Number 4, to find out the overall attitude of B.Ed students, both male teachers and female, towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas, Manipur. And my hypothesis. Number 1, the attitude of male B.Ed students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas is positive. Number 2, the attitude of female B.Ed students towards women teachers in B.Ed colleges of Imphal area is positive. Number 3, there is a high difference in the attitude between the male and female B.Ed students towards women teachers of B.Ed colleges in Imphal areas. Number 4, the overall attitude of B.Ed students, male and female, towards women teachers of B.Ed colleges of Imphal areas is positive. And methodology. For this study, a descriptive survey method will be adopted. And fear of board examination, anxiety and uncertainty for their future admission career. Si mo sa susunod ka lang sige marang sa anxiety ko pag miller po sa exam na niya na biskit, SRT, mental, survey, madura, hindi ka pa po. Justification say, kung meron na ay na-hire secondary students na kay bitaw ito nila, ang mga mga sagot sa dihit sa itong hamba, ang mga siguro na rin at ito, masi, poti ko na daba, ito oras ko, mana sa dihit si kamay na sa dihit ng dento, kasi daba ang mga siguro na ito. At yung mga ikot sa ang mga secondary students na ang mga ikot sa dihit, mas sa dihit si kamay na iligyan, kay mundo na iligyan, at yung relation student, may disadvantage, kay mundo na kamay na iligyan, nainanaw kita mo sige study sa kamay. At kung sige study sa kanga magtulog po na ang aming students, ako na parents or students or teachers or so, good study habit and control this anxiety sa kamali. Mo na po na higher studies po, and then general line or so, technical line or so, or any competitive exam ha, pada mo sige maintain to what na ni mo successful person or gani kamay dama higher students so ina daw ang study. Para po, statement of the problem po para mo.
The problem of the present study is that a study on the relationship between study habits and test anxiety among government higher secondary school students of Nepali district. A relationship refers to correspondence between the two variables. For the present study, the two variables are study habits and test anxiety. And study habits, test anxiety, government higher secondary school students, and without test anxiety. This anxiety is a type of performance anxiety, which is a combination of mental and physical distress experienced by students when they have to face any type of exam. Objectives: define of the study habits of higher secondary students in Nepali district Manipur. Define of the level of test anxiety of higher secondary students. To compare study habits of male and female higher secondary students. To compare level of test anxiety of male and female higher secondary students. To find out the relationship between study habits and test anxiety among higher secondary students. There is a positive study habits among higher secondary students in Nepali district Manipur. There is a high level of test anxiety among higher secondary students. There is no significant difference between male and female higher secondary students. There is no significant difference between male and female higher secondary among all study habits on the level of test anxiety. And there is a positive relationship between study habits and test anxiety.
Others and everyone present here. The topic is attitude of government higher secondary school students of Nepal is district of Manipur towards reading culture in internet era. Justification of the study. The school focuses on improving reading behavior and picture is the main element in investigating all student learning activities. Students are typically more likely to read materials that interest them, and for this reason, teachers and libraries will play an important role in encouraging students' reading habit. Careful planning of instruction will help learners develop a positive attitude towards reading. When students learn, they receive information and develop their own understanding. As in the behavior of teenagers, reading now seems to be declining. Thus, the problem under study is a humble attempt to assess the impact of internet on the reading habit of the student. In addition to this, the students will be enabled to know the positive application of the physical gadgets to develop their reading culture. The study will also be beneficial for the teachers to adopt innovative teaching strategies for achieving effective teaching learning process. Statement of the problem. The present investigation is concerned with attitude of government higher secondary school students of Nepal district of Manipur towards reading culture in internet era. Objective of my study is, the first objective is to trace out the factors influencing on the reading culture among the higher secondary school students of science and arts stream. Second objective, to compare the significance of satisfaction level of science and arts students with the service and basic facilities provided by the school library. Third objective, to identify barriers to the reading habit among the students of higher secondary school. Hypothesis. First hypothesis is there is relationship between factors, that is father's education and mother's education qualification of the respondents and reading culture among the study population. Library, the second hypothesis, library helps in cultivating the reading culture among the science and arts stream students. Third, traditional reading culture is declining in the internet era. I will be using descriptive survey method for the study population for the science stream and arts stream students.
An examination, an analysis on the Master of Education examination results of Manipur University. And for my justification of study. Analysis of examination results is finding education and educational implications are some of the key factors for the modifications to bring about improvement in a particular program of education. The examination results of Master of Education, this is a professional pre-service course of teacher education, needs to be analyzed in order to bring about certain improvement to research findings. Further, through the review of related literature, there is less number of research in this particular area of the present study. And statement of the problem. The problem is stated as an analysis on the Master of Education and examination results of Ministry University. And objective of the study. To examine the M.Ed examination result of 2019 to 2022. To examine the M.Ed examination result of RKSBCE for the years 2019 to 2022. To compare the M.Ed examination result of the MCEE and RKSBCE for the years 2019 to 2022. To compare the M.Ed examination result for the year 2019 to 2022. Number 5, to offer suggestions for further studies. And research questions. What are the M.Ed examination results of the MCEE for the years 2019 to 2022? What are the M.Ed examination for the years 2019 to 2022? Is there any difference between the M.Ed examination results of the MCEE and RKSBCE for the years 2019 to 2022? Is there any difference between the M.Ed examination results for the year 2019 to 2022? Methodology of study method. Descriptive method will be used for the study and preparation. All the students of M.Ed course of the M College of Teacher Education info and Artisan of M.Ed College of Education info for the year 2019 to 2022 will be the duration of study. Simple. The students of M.Ed of the MCEE and RKSDE for the year 2019 to 2022 examination result had been declared to the simple of the study. Use of the study. The M.Ed
and the problem in which I can choose for my dissertation is parental perception on schooling of children in 6th standard at government schools, unraveling the school choice process in Malaysia. How can you get your wonderful? Now let me come to my objective. My first objective, co-curricular transactions have influenced parental perception on the children's school choices in the Malaysia area. And my fifth objective is to identify whether parental perceptions on the children's schooling choices are related to the overall students' performance in the government schools located in Malaysia. And sixth is, this is a suggestion that I would like to put in my conclusion part actually.
That should be.
Yeah, you did from there.
It's not an objective.
And hypothesis number one is the perception of parents towards their children's education in government schools located in Malaysia is low. And second hypothesis is normally fathers have higher perception towards their children's schooling in government schools located around Malaysia. And third hypothesis is the poor infrastructure of government schools is one of the prime factors that give low parental perception towards the children schooling in government schools located around Malaysia. And fourth hypothesis is the quality and nature of curricular and co-curricular transactions is another factor for low parental perception towards the children schooling in government schools located around Malaysia. And the fifth is parental perceptions on the children's schooling choices in Malaysia are greatly affected by the overall students' performance in the government schools located around and the method that I'm going to use is descriptive analysis and qualitative and quantitative.
So according to the general, for star performance in every zone, in every field, in sense of interest, yes. Is
twice as important as purely if this course consists at the highest level in leadership positions.
siguro anak sila destitute children destitute children since basic rights and necessities deprived even the right to education like they have a constitution also the right to education deprived society proper schooling, proper education. To develop, excel and prepare them for active participation in social and professional activities. I have a review of the military process I have need of the study or justification the long term because you have proper care and education society destitute children marginalized social considered lack of dignity self-sufficient proper education studies proper schooling, proper education society uplift social status equally academic achievement destitute children to academic achievement academic achievement is considered a key criteria to judge one's potential and capacity neglect accommodate academic achievement proper education topic academic achievement of the destitute children in empowerment topic objective to find out the level of academic achievement of destitute children of class 10 academic achievement level to compare the level of academic achievement between destitute boys and girls of class 10. To find out the dropout rate of destitute children, to suggest measures for enhancing quality education. To suggest it from objective delimitation I say children home the labor children the in fact it's always
my topic will be parental involvement towards children education, assessing their role in completing home assignment among class 6 students in Singamay constituency in Far West District. So, the home assignment has a second role has the reinforce the improve the parental involvement has a Mama Padna, among the health of people, teaching parental involvement set, we have among then attendance for grade for in the May. Aduga aina masigi topic se mainly khalize kai no haba matanda aina ai observation ni ba matanda ai sinjami constituency se ato pura yinga lower like see the parents is na among sigi works they yaw the bra on ni matanda parents se ma di thok chilam ba ya or ma di household duty to the ma di busy or ba ya ka to ma di to ma le ba ya see sina or bra ni aina khanda then parents sina among sigi in the tar the hena improvement like ni ha aduga main aina master class 6 ana khalisina kari no class 6 is a very critical stage kai the selection the among sida ano ba subject amazo hajal ka dori ba for example social science kai haram the geography history kai adu na parents na haida na or mo ta kitang doubt like the mating pang tira ka bin ching siguro ko biya aina kanto digi siguro problems se mama pa na kari digi in sa prino many games si men hamin digi ay na research ko choose to be. So I objective to examine in general the degree of parental role in completing home assignment of their children reading in class 6 in both government and private upper primary secondary school located in Singamai constituency, Upper West District, Manipur. To compare the intensity of parental involvement in completing home assignment located in Singamai constituency, Upper West District. To identify whether mother or father of the children took greater role in the children's home assignment for the significant influence of the completion of their children's home assignment or not. To compare parents' educational qualification and their differential role in health. Last is the script observing suggestion. Is it I give
Teachers, my friends, my chapter is a study on low enrollment of students in the government elementary schools in Bangal constituency, Congress, and
justification da hawra koinamni order
justification of the study. The government of Manipur is providing free essential X standard along with free uniforms, midday meals, so that students will get better education. Despite many facilities, the enrollment in government elementary schools is very poor. It is 32.8% according to annual status of education report of 2022. This is the lowest in the Northeast region. Then, most parents say towards the private schools paying much money. They are more interested towards the good and efficient infrastructure, up-to-date curriculum, punctuality in maintenance and management of private schools. Statement of the problem of the study has been entitled as a study on low enrollment of students in the government elementary schools in the Bangalore constituency in Congress, Manipur. The objectives of the study are to study the status of necessary infrastructure in the government elementary schools, to study the enrollment trend of government elementary schools under the study for 3 academic years, 2021-2023, to find out the factors affecting low enrollment of students in government elementary schools, and to suggest appropriate remedies for improvement of low enrollment. The hypotheses are there exists a shortage of necessary infrastructure in the government elementary school. The enrollment in government elementary school is found to be quite low, and insufficient infrastructure and digital class in government schools are the important reasons for the low enrollment. For the method of study, descriptive method study will be used. Population. The population of the present study will include all government elementary schools in Bangalore constituency in West Manipur. Sample. Using a random sampling method, 5 schools will be selected for the study. Tools to be used. In the present study, information sample for headmaster or headmistress and questionnaire for teachers, parents, and students. Appropriate statistical technique will be used. For delimitation, the study is limited to only Bangalore constituency of Upper District. The study is delimited to government schools in Bangalore Assembly constituency, and only elementary level of education will be studied. And there are the
Language, the identity of a community, which means mother tongue carries our culture. Our mother tongue will show us to the world that where we belong and who we are. But recently I have come across some students or some small children who pick up Hindi and English and sharply then their own mother tongue in this alphabet. They become blunt, or they become more reluctant in speaking of their mother tongue, and they become more fluent in English and Hindi. So I thought that it will not give a good impact in the future of our steps, of our mother tongue, of our original language. Because language can readily mix each other very easily. So it is thinking that it
I thought it is better to curb this situation at the earliest, identifying the causes. By identifying the causes, we have to stop the mixing of language, mother tongue, and we should conserve our mother tongue. So, keeping in view with this justification, let's go to the objectives of the study. So in this present paper, I want to find out or study the parents that use English and Hindi in their daily conversation and if it cause any impact in the speaking or picking up of Hindi and language as a mother tongue by their children. And number two, to observe the medium instructions in schools and if it influence on the picking up of another mother tongue or picking up of Hindi and English as their mother tongue by the students. And to examine the mass uses of mobile phones, televisions, tablets by children and its course on speaking of more Hindi and English than their mother tongue. Objective number 4, to study our society's perception of comparing children's intelligence with their ability to speak English. And objective number 5, I'm going to establish a relationship between the increasing in the number of nuclear family and its impact or its influence on children's inability to speak their mother tongue. So, considering these 5 hypotheses, I have assumed and formed 5 hypotheses related to the objectives. And I bring up, I draw the positive relationship between all the factors that I mentioned in the objective with their causes in inability of the children to speak Hindi and English more fluently than their mother tongue. So these are all positive relationships. There exist the parents using Hindi and English language and it causes their children's inability to speak their mother tongue. There exists the influence of medium of instructions in schools to children's inability to speak their mother tongue. There exists the mass uses of mobile phones, televisions, tablets by children and it causes.
Synopsis is on professional commitment of secondary school teachers of the fathers. The topic is very familiar, very boring, but the thing is that we need a lot. It's like my grandma says, Imran, try to think will make you a better person. Likewise, we cannot, whatever happening in society now, I mean in our society right now, there are so many questions that could arise to our commitment as a teacher. That's why I thought I was confused, is it the professional ethics or is it the professional commitment? But I think the professional ethics comes under the professional commitment. So though I think this is very commonly heard, very normal topic, familiar topic, but I thought I could just do much better on the other one. And another reason for me choosing this one is that secondary. As I'm significant. This is what I have just put it that I have learned in the classroom. But there are so many research questions that arises in my mind. I ask myself, for such as like I'll be dealing with students where they have so many
Just 5
identity
more minutes
crisis.
and you're going home.
Yeah, that's the best part of me giving presentation, being the roll number 50. You know, I can just wind it up by saying that you must be. Last time what happened was that really took me is like the support of teachers helping the teachers helping students coping. You know, mass coping. That's really took me hard. And there are so many reasons I took this. When I was working as a vice principal in a school, I have to cater to the needs of every student. It means like I can live them because I have to attend to their problem as a vice principal. But the question that always lingered to me is that why as a teacher, as a secondary teacher, do they really at the end do they have the commitments? You know. That question is really took me. So I just want to know about that. And as I am joining secondary school, that's also like I want to study. Let's move to. Yeah, the objective.
Also included in it. Effects of social media may be positive or negative. There is a need to find out the effects of social media on the M.Ed student teachers who will directly or indirectly impact the education system and schools. We humans are social animals who interact with people for one reason or the other. So, by social media in almost all the spheres of our lives. So I have taken up this topic, and the justifications of my study are: social media has been used for communication, discussion,